Welcome back to our channel, where we keep you informed on the latest developments in global defense and security. Today's story is a breaking news update that brings the focus back to one of the world's most contested and strategic maritime regions, the South China Sea. In a bold move, the navies of the United States and the Philippines have intercepted a Chinese Coast Guard ship in a dramatic escalation of maritime tensions. The joint forces of the United States and the Philippines conducted a coordinated operation in the South China Sea to challenge what they see as the growing assertiveness of Chinese maritime forces in the region. The intercepted Chinese Coast Guard vessel was reportedly engaged in activities that violated international maritime law, according to sources within both navies. The South China Sea is not just any ordinary body of water. It's a region rich in resources, with over 10% of the world's fish supply and vast reserves of oil and natural gas beneath its seabed. But it's also a region marked by overlapping territorial claims from several countries, including China, the Philippines, Vietnam, Malaysia, and Brunei. For decades, China has asserted its dominance by building artificial islands, deploying military assets, and using its Coast Guard and fishing fleets as tools of its power projection strategy. Given the strategic importance of these waters, the United States has taken a firm stance in supporting its regional allies, particularly the Philippines, in resisting what it calls China's unlawful and coercive activities. The recent interception is a clear signal that the U.S. and the Philippines are ready to push back. The Philippines on Friday denounced China's alleged assault of Vietnamese fishermen in the South China Sea, where Manila and Beijing are also locked in violent confrontations that have led to fears of armed conflict. Vietnam has accused Chinese law enforcement forces of beating the 10 fishermen with iron bars and robbing them Sunday of thousands of dollars worth of fish and equipment off the Paracel Islands. A Chinese Foreign Ministry spokesperson acknowledged an incident took place there, but disputed the Vietnamese version of the events. China and Vietnam both claim the Paracel Islands, but the Philippines does not. We strongly condemn the violent and illegal actions of Chinese maritime authorities against Vietnamese fishermen near the Paracel Islands on September 29, 2024. Philippine National Security Advisor Eduardo Ano said in a statement. He described the unjustified assault as an alarming act with no place in international relations. The Philippine Foreign Department also issued a statement Friday saying it was aware of the serious incident. The Philippines has consistently denounced the use of force, aggression, and intimidation in the South China Sea and emphasized the need for actors to exercise genuine self-restraint, it said. It is a paramount obligation to ensure the safety at sea of vessels and their crew, especially fisherfolk. The incident came just over 3 months after Chinese law enforcement personnel armed with knives, sticks, and an axe attacked Filipino troops attempting to resupply a Philippine garrison on Second Thomas Shoal in the Spratly Archipelago. The Chinese seized guns and other equipment and damaged Philippine boats, while a Filipino sailor lost a thumb in the June 17th melee. Chinese Coast Guard and other vessels have in recent months also rammed, water-cannoned, and blocked Philippine government vessels on several occasions around Second Thomas Shoal and Sabina Shoal in the Spratlys, as well as Scarborough Shoal in another area of the sea. Beijing claims most of the South China Sea and has for years sought to expand its presence in contested areas there, brushing aside an international ruling that its claim to most of the waterway has no legal basis. It has built artificial islands armed with missile systems and runways for fighter jets, and deployed vessels that the Philippines says harass its ships and block its fishermen. The Philippines accused Chinese maritime officials on Friday of carrying out an unjustified assault on Vietnamese fishermen in the contested waters of the South China Sea, adding its voice to a fraught dispute over the confrontation. Vietnam said this week that Chinese law enforcement officers had beaten 10 fishermen and seized their gear while they were working last Sunday near the Chinese-controlled Paracel Islands, which Hanoi also claims and calls Huang Sa. China, which claims most of the busy waterway, said on Tuesday the fishermen had been there illegally and that it had taken steps to stop them. It did not respond immediately to the Philippine statement. Other recent run-ins between China and the Philippines, a U.S. treaty ally, have made the highly strategic South China Sea a potential flashpoint between Washington and Beijing. Philippine National Security Advisor Eduardo Ano said on Friday his country stood with Vietnam in denouncing Sunday's egregious act. Such use of force against civilians blatantly violates international law and breaches basic human decency, he added in his statement. The Philippines and Vietnam also have overlapping claims on islands in the South China Sea, but both agreed in August to work more closely together and resolve disagreements peacefully. Their coast guards held their first joint exercises that month. Encounters have become more frequent in the past year as Beijing presses its claims and Manila refuses to halt fishing and resupply activities for Philippine military personnel at 2 contested shoals. China uses a so-called 9-dash line that takes in about 90% of the South China Sea to assert its claim to sovereignty over nearly all of the strategic waterway, and has deployed hundreds of Coast Guard vessels in patrols against rival claimants. China regularly says its Coast Guard is acting professionally and lawfully to protect its territory from trespassers. The United States has a mutual defense treaty with the Philippines and has repeatedly made clear it would protect its ally if Manila's Coast Guard or armed forces came under attack anywhere in the South China Sea. The Philippine Foreign Ministry also weighed in on Friday, saying it was aware of a serious incident between Vietnamese fishermen and Chinese maritime authorities and emphasized the need for actors to exercise genuine self-restraint. In response, the U.S. and Philippine naval forces moved into the area to assert freedom of navigation and to ensure the safety of the Philippine vessels. A tense standoff ensued, with the Chinese Coast Guard attempting maneuvers to intimidate the joint forces. However, after a series of warnings and diplomatic communications, the Chinese ship withdrew, avoiding a direct confrontation. As we've seen, this latest development in the South China Sea is more than just a maritime skirmish. It's a signal of a broader geopolitical struggle that could have far-reaching consequences. The U.S.-Philippines interception of a Chinese Coast Guard vessel has set the stage for what could be a tense period of confrontation and competition in one of the world's most strategically important regions. Thank you for joining us on this deep dive into the unfolding situation. If you found this video insightful, please hit the like button, share your thoughts in the comments section below, and subscribe to our channel for more updates on global security and defense news. Until next time, stay informed and stay safe.